Life today is certainly easier than it was 300 years ago, although
is it?
Right now I would beg to differ.
Is it?
I don't know. I'd actually rather go back to colonial times to kind of see if it is easier, right? It can be interesting to go back and see how people used to live.
Well, if that sparks your interest, Mike Randall's taking us back to the 18th century at Fort Niagara.
They may not have had COVID-19 back in the day, but here at the fort, they had some pretty bad stuff.
One of the diseases that afflicted Fort Niagara was scurvy.
They're getting ready for Living History Weekend at Old Fort Niagara. According to Executive Director Robert Emerson, the public loves this kind of history.
The way people did things in the past fascinates moderns. I mean, we live in a world of gadgets. It's just interesting for people to see how people did things without the technology we have today.
When they say living history around here, they mean it. Rick Chapman is the blacksmith in these here parts.
This I'm making from one of the windows in the castle.
Before he became a costume interpreter in the 18th century, Rick retired from his day job in the 21st century.
I'm a retired from the Niagara County Sheriff's Department. I worked there for 35 years as a correction officer.
Rick says that this shop is on the same spot where the original forge stood. And back in those days, the blacksmith really was the go-to guy.
Our job was primarily to make every metal part in the castle. Very simply, I needed a screwdriver this morning for a project, so I made one.
Now, if you like ghost stories, there was an old tale going around about a headless ghost in the well. Any ghosts down there?
Get out.
But Robert says that story was kind of made up.
When we talk about it, we like to make it clear that, it's not true.
In fact, if you want to hear about the real ghost stories at Old Fort Niagara, check out their lantern tours later this month.
They're not made-up ghost stories either. They're real stories that are associated with this site.
It should be an exciting weekend at Old Fort Niagara, especially since they'll be doing something they haven't done all summer.
It's the first time we've been able to fire our artillery all year. That'll be on Saturday.
And if you never heard one of these things go off, you'll get a bang out of it. Oh. At Old Fort Niagara, Mike Randall, 7 Eyewitness News.
In this morning's GMA First.